All right, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm back with my second video on the alleged, which after today, I don't think it can be considered alleged anymore, the cheating taking place on America's Card Room. Today's video is going to focus on an exploitation currently being exploited and being exploited for quite a long time. It's resulted in at least 13 accounts being banned, and I found upwards of 30 accounts total active that have possibly been exploiting this loophole right here in the registration system for some of the highest in the money percentages I've ever seen, although I'm not really studying a ton of tournaments, but these might be some of the best tournament players in the entire world when it comes to cashing in the money. And now I mentioned some of these accounts have been banned and been confirmed as banned by ACR on Twitter. And I actually got a chance to witness 4 or 5 of these accounts in action tonight doing this. And we're going to take a look at their stats as well, because these guys, once again, great players that seem to cash a very high percentage of the time. And this is just a very weird situation. So this sort of got dropped on me. I put out that video, a few days back, and I've gotten 100+ messages, I feel like, from people. I've talked with Phil, the WPN CEO. I've talked with Dan Kent, winning poker director, security. They're obviously not very happy with me that I decided to make this video public rather than sort of try to work this out behind the scenes. And, I feel like Dan does care about trying to make this work, but from my interactions with him about some of these things, guys, I got to be honest, man. When we take a look at this loophole, when we take a look at what's being done, when we take a look at this loophole currently still being open and exploited today, I have very minimal to absolutely no faith in America's Card Room security, Winning Poker Network security, to be able to properly figure out what the hell's happening on their site. If this loophole has been allowed to be open for so long, accounts have been banned, but you haven't tracked who they're closely associated with, and those accounts are still playing today, then I have absolutely no faith in the ability for bots to be taken care of, for collusion to be detected, and most of all, for potential super using to be anything figured out. And, for just a little bit on that, I'll talk more about this tomorrow. My talking with Phil and my talking with Dan and other people I've communicated with that have given me more information about the collusion taking place with 44 Bars. I've been talking to him on Instagram, and I'm trying to give you a chance, an objective look into this 44 Bars. But your name once again came up in today's potential exploit. In terms of with the collusion, like I said, with the collusion, with the bots, and with potential other bots happening in the sit and go world as well too. I had a long conversation about that tonight. It's just been a few crazy days for me, guys. A ton of messages, a ton of people asking out there for this hardcore proving evidence, and quite honestly, guys, I think a lot of this it's almost impossible to prove. I made this video not to be the judge, jury, executioner on this thing. I wanted to draw awareness to this. I saw this happen in a pot in Omaha, and I want to draw awareness to this and have the site take a look at what's happening. I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't know. I think this is just more of a rampant problem than I initially even thought too. And for talking with Dan about the potential super user, Sleepy Berry was the account I mentioned. Now this guy, his response is, I'll not check Sleepy Berry. He's down 15,000 total. He's clear. We're good. Can you take that back? I go, Dan, what are you talking about right now? First of all, there are so many other things to check. It's not just you relay to security. They're always down 15. I mean, is this what they're really doing? Is this what they're doing when they say, oh, nope, he's down? There are so many things and so many ways you can circumvent that. Who's that account losing money to? What about recent sessions? What about recent play? What about diving deep into the hand histories? Who's they've played the most with? What time of day are they playing the most with? Who are they losing the most money to? Who are they winning the most? There's so many other things to take a look. And in 4 days, when you say, oh, nope, he's down, that's it, that's the extent of me looking, that's preposterous. That is a shocking atrocity that is the way this is going to be handled. And then from talking more with Dan about, this late registration loophole, and 44 Bars name came up, I relayed a message that my source told me about him, and he said, he's like, all right, I looked to see if he did the late registration exploit in the tournaments he won. He didn't do it. Your theory's shit. Why are you making up these accusations? What are you even doing this for? What do you get to gain out of doing this stuff? And now, Phil also mentioned something about, before he blocked me, he mentioned this is just for friends. And now, guys, listen, my friends aren't going to let me play tens of thousands of hands in an environment on America's Card Room that is rampant with Eastern European bots. They're not going to let me get gangbanged around by 2 to 3, who knows how many other accounts running these bots. They're not going to let me potentially get the super user shuffle when a little old Sleepyberry has to sit down with me to play me heads up and fucking it takes me out back and puts the stick in me or whatever, man. My friends ain't going to let me do that. My friends are going to be policing the environment, especially an environment I'm actively in and even talking about and promoting for many years now. That's not what my friends are going to do. When I make that video and I bring these serious allegations and serious sort of concerns to the table, if these people, their first response is, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you bring it to us first? Why didn't you try harder to bring it to us first? It's not, hey, okay, let's fucking fix this situation. Let's get rid of these bots. Let's get rid of these potential colluding that's happening. Let's really investigate these accounts. Are you getting super used? I don't know. Probably not, Joey. Probably not. But let's take a really hard look and figure this out and get to the bottom of it. They're not going to complain about, oh my, why did you do that video? Oh my God. I mean, people are on my side. You know, I don't want to have to take a side again. Listen, it's not me against ACR. I'm bringing these things out there. I'm making them aware. Now it's on you guys to do something about it. And once again, I just go back to what I've seen. I have no faith in that happening. And I quite honestly don't know what to think, don't know what to do. I feel like I'm spending so much time and energy on this. But you know what? Let's get into what exactly this exploit looks like. All right, guys, so we got this up here. And so basically what happens is in a tournament, all the tables end up getting filled and there's a late registration or they'll be on a break and they'll have, the tables are all 9. So what's going to happen is when people join, just like this, you're going to see accounts can join together. So now what's going to happen is kind of what you see here is if you have a team of 4 people, 3 people, 5 people, you can join all at the same time and you're all going to be in a row. And this is what I saw actually happen tonight before my eyes. It's just crazy. So this is what alleged to have been happening. So I got a message from somebody saying, hey, oh my God, like this is what's going on. I had to fight tooth and nail with Dan, you know, with the winning poker director, tournament director. I had to fight him and I had to show him, I had to tell him these accounts are doing this over and over again. They're doing this. You need to ban these accounts. This wasn't a thing that ACR found on its own. This was a rogue guy just concerned about what's happening and just couldn't, he just like had to do something about it, had to report it. And he spent his time, so much time reporting this and even ongoingly reporting it still. And this is why this was finally taken care of from some of these accounts, but still actively going on. And the message I did get received said this is what he alleges that 44 Bars is doing. And 44 Bars is doing this with different accounts. And I mean, it's just like, like I said, I want to give 44 Bars the benefit of the doubt, but he seems to be coming up in, but yeah, I want to give 44 Bars the benefit of the doubt, but he just keeps coming up in every single angle, every single message, someone saying, something about him being involved in something, and it's just wild to see. So, and then he also tells me that these accounts that have gotten banned, these 13 accounts that he's gotten banned, we're taking advantage of this loophole, and then there's still other accounts actively doing it to this day, and he just can't explain it, but they have these super high in the money percentage rates. So we'll go ahead and take a look exactly kind of how it goes here. So I have to do some editing to kind of put this together later. But yeah, so here's how it works. So kind of you see this third guy join Gone Fishing. So kind of if you join at the same table, this gives you a chance, especially at late reg, you might be able to dump chips. You might be able to dump chips, rebuy pretty quickly, sometimes 2 accounts. Maybe you're just playing at the same table. You're sharing your whole cards as well too. Of course, that's going to give you a big advantage. When you're playing here, you might be doing something which some of these other accounts are doing, which is timing down, trying to get to the money, trying to manipulate the system that way. So you're going to kind of see the table is going to fill up. Clark 823 sits down there. We have one account who's actually has an existing sec sit down. I'm going to fast forward kind of through it because it takes a while they're on break. And you can see how much time you have. You can go ahead and join. I'm looking for more tournaments that might be able to observe here. So Get Lucky goes ahead, sits down. Apothedo sits down here. And then once again, 2 accounts filled up pretty quickly. And now, okay, the game's full. All right, one account existing already, and then you have new accounts, all rest of new names. So now that is basically what the loophole is, what the exploit is, and obviously that could be a huge advantage if it's something that you're going to take care of with a team or with a group of people or just in many different ways. All right, guys, so now we're going to take a look at the banned accounts, and I mentioned a couple of these accounts are confirmed as banned by ACR on Twitter. So this is not a speculation. This is confirmed information with 2 of these accounts And now I don't know if we'll be able to get the rest of these accounts confirmed as banned, but my sources told me he communicated directly with Dan to get these accounts banned and to get them off the streets. You take a look here, you got Xeno VJ, God Tier Bluff, Jim Bob, Red Meyer, Rebus88, Master Doctor 777, Nick Doc, Barcode looking account, Girl Power, Prude Baby, McScrick, Steve Man, and I think this other account, the hyphen inactive up here, and I have Balance Point, which I know is an account involved, or it's what I'm told is involved, but I don't know if that's one of the banned accounts in this situation. So you can see some of these in the money rates, guys, and Xeno VJ has 86%, God Tier Bluff 88%, Jim Bob 76, Red Meyer 75, Rebus 66, and Master Doctor 76%. These are ridiculous win rates in terms of in the money. And I looked up with some of the top heads up players, and they're finishing in the money. It's a little above 50%. So this is you're playing two people there. One person finishes the money, one person doesn't. These guys are playing nine-handed or six-handed tournaments and achieving win rates like this in the money. It's just, I mean, it's pretty. And who knows? Like I said, who knows if there's potential card sharing happening here? I mean, there's definitely something going on because these accounts have been banned. You can look at the last date they've seen. So the January 23rd for 3 of these accounts. 2 of them were the confirmed banned accounts, and then you have Rebus88 down here, 888. Who was confirmed banned on January 24th. And then if you look at the first time these accounts showed up, you can see Red Meyer and Master Doctor 777 both showed up on June 27th in 2015. And you can see the first 3 accounts here were all registered in December of 2017 and then banned in this month. So this, honestly, to me, there's so many accounts involved in this. Like I said, I found at least 30 accounts, and I'm going to show you all of them right now. This goes crazy. I mean, I can't even fathom how deep this might go because it's been going on, at least on here, for a very, very long time. And now we do have these accounts locked down here, so we can't get the information in terms of what's happening with here. And now you might say Nick Dog V's only got that 50%, but what happens is Nick Dog ended up getting activated by the powers that be at some point in time. And so he was kind of rolling around in like this little free roll land down here. And then all of a sudden his account got active, and you can see that he went from 34% in the three-handed sit and goes before that. So he's 34% in the money in three-handed sit and goes. All of a sudden, after he becomes activated by the powers that be, he ends up going up to 72% in the money in these $3 tournaments. And you go to Red Meyer. You know, I kind of pulled up somewhere. I spent way too much time in here. Xeno VJ has 85% in $3 tournaments. This guy has 92% cashes in, I mean, it's a small sample size here, 13 total there, but 92% of the time he cashes in these, in 13 of these $33 six max tournaments. So obviously, who really knows what's happening there? If they all had 6 at a table, they stalled down, which is kind of, what I've heard is taking place. And you see Red Meyer has 88% in the money rate in 43 of these $33 six-handed tournaments. So it seems like they were taking advantage of that format pretty well. And I mean, these guys won thousands of dollars, man. 6,000, 6,000, 4,000. These guys won a ton of money, and these accounts have been banned. I don't know if this money's been redistributed to players. I have not heard anything about that, but I would assume it's been redistributed to players. Of course, this is just what we see. And if these accounts are banned, then I would imagine the money did get sent out and was sent to players, and it took a lot of money. They're cashing all these tournaments right here. So now I dug through the opponents associated with these accounts and who played the most with them, and this is kind of, now things even get a little more fucking weird and a little more fun. So, and fun, I mean weird. Go to this account, 1.5K. So 1.5K, been around for a while here. So he's inactive. Stops playing on, I think it was like August of 2017. All of a sudden, the first January 24th, 2018, he's back, reactivated. What happened that date, guys? Well, of course, the 4 accounts were banned that day. So I guess 1.5K brought back out of hibernation. He has the 60% in the money rate. And then there's a bunch of other accounts that I'm going to go over, but there were some accounts that were linked to this initial 85, 86%, that very high upper echelon cashing percentage accounts. So I found these other accounts that, listen, let's take a look at this. So there's this guy, Noob Polka, right? Now these guys, they brought these guys out, the free roll circuit, man. So Noob Polka here, this guy, look at this stuff. This is crazy. Look at this. This guy played 8,287 sit and go free rolls, and 400, I don't know what the hell that means, scheduled free rolls, 181 other free rolls. All of a sudden, the man gets active. He's cashing at 84% in the $11 tournaments. He goes from a 2.3% cash rate in the free rolls up to 84% in these $11 tournaments. And now if you go to his other favorite game, these $3 tournaments, he's up once again 73% cash rate over 261 and these ones. We have another free roll sleeper cell activated here with this Anashimi 1579. This guy had played himself. He played, what did he play? 5,000 of these free rolls, man. The guy couldn't cash to save his life in these things. I mean, I guess he did a little better, 11.9 overall, but I guess that's not for free roll. So let's see what his free roll cash rate is. 2.2%. Nice work, kid. 2.2%, a solid 109. You know, not a bad ROI for 5,300 tournaments. But all of a sudden, the guy switches to $3.30 tournaments. He turns into a master, 78%. And obviously, a lot of these accounts are all linked to each other. There's always one or two accounts that show up in the most frequented opponent for pretty much all of these across the board. And even for a lot of those banned ones, they all show up on the other players' profiles. And now you take a look, you know, there's this guy, V Martinez, 06. You see his graph right there. You know, it looks like he got activated in December himself. He went from playing, he went from playing a lot of these little free rolls, not quite as many volume. He went from playing, what is happening? It just doesn't make sense, but played about 3-something free rolls, and then all of a sudden he hops in the $2 tournaments, cashing at a solid 89%. In the $3 tournaments, cashing for a solid 74%. So yeah, he is just turned into some messiah of the game. Then you had this guy Charlie Couve right here. My man Charlie Couve even had, look, I mean, this guy's graph's beautiful right here. But he ends up having an overall cash rate of 63% in the money. And yeah, man, I mean, you know, what's his $3 tournaments? Once again, 72%. Just these guys are all connected with each other, and yeah, it's just like crazy. You got this guy Moser down here. I think I found 3 accounts from this guy Moser, and there's just all sorts of craziness happening here. You know, I think going through this one right here, this guy had 5,581 free rolls in there. So when you go ahead and you filter these by the $3 tournaments as well, you know, he's only at 50%. You know, not kind of busto for the most part. I mean, this guy's like probably one of the worst players of all time, clearly, because he doesn't know what's happening here. And you look at one of his frequent opponent, this Pavel France guy is another name that I was kind of keeping track of, and kind of checking around with him too. So yeah, man, you got this kind of Moser guy with a couple accounts. His other account has a 50% cash rate in here, and then some of these other ones, you know, it's just like kind of weird. This Mozart P8 guy, once again, 1,800 free rolls, $3. He plays $3 tournaments, but a smaller cash rate. So like, you know, whether this, you know, I don't even know how to kind of even explain some of those, if that's a legitimate thing, if that's not. It does not seem legitimate to me in sort of any way with a little bit these rates here, right here. But obviously they're a little bit less that account specifically. So I don't know if certain accounts maybe work with each other and other ones don't. I don't really, you know exactly what is happening. And then we go back to today. All right, so my source gets a touch on me. He says, check out this table. You know, I just saw these guys do it. Tankfold, Bubashek, Kolinakoko, Karate 1X, and Borov. So I pulled it up. I see these guys 5 in a row, as he described, which was taking place. And I sort of see they all joined the same time in that right before late registration ended. And yeah, he's like, they're going to tank down before they make the decisions. And so I kind of just observed that. And I record this for a while. I can show people this if they want. I didn't really pay too much attention what the play exactly, if anything seemed out of line or not. You know, I don't think I'm the best judge of that. I think ACR Security probably going to be a good way. They have hands. I think they have hands. I don't really know. So yeah, so I go ahead, I look up these accounts, and let's take a look at that here. All right, so I go ahead, I put these guys into SharkScope. So I also put, you see Punta Cana God down here. I put these guys in for comparison. So you got Punta Cana, all these guys at the table. So 29, 26, 22, 29, 17, 32% for in the money. Now we go to my guy Bubashik, the shark over here. He's got a solid 56%, and it looks like to me, when did he kind of start? It looks like he kind of been going really slowly. Been going really slowly for the most part, but yeah, with this very good 56% cash rate. You take a look at what his favorite game is. He's got the $11 tournament, In the $11 tournaments, he's cashing for 61%. I say, all right, that seems like, strong player. His buddy Kolkanov, who was sitting next to him, he's cashing for 62%. And Tankful, the other guy there, is cashing for 60%. Then we go over here to Borov. Borov is cashing for 64% too. I mean, I don't know. These guys, what is they're doing. Like I said, I don't know what's happening with this, but this is just some crazy numbers, man. And then kind of from clicking around there, this Karate 1X guy with that guy is hidden here. So, and I kind of clicked around some other names here, and there's some other things you can look at. Favorite games. A lot of these guys have very short favorite games list, whereas an actual legitimate player is going to have a lot more. This Bookie J is a number that kept coming up too, and that's kind of why I've been thinking that there might be some of these accounts that were in the 50% range. They weren't in that 60, 65. They weren't in that higher tier. So it seems like there's accounts that are split up in different ranges here. The 60s, the 80s, and this guy's a 45, 50 right here, and over just a lot of hands over a pretty large sample here. And I think it disappeared for a little bit here, maybe for a little bit or something like that. I spent way too much time, kind of looking at this. He disappeared. He stopped playing in, he stopped playing back last year sometime, it looks like. And so I was looking with those accounts, Simba Rules and Cubs Bulls. These guys have 31%, and they sort of came up in conjunction with some of these other players too. But I didn't notice that very high win rate in any of the game types for them. So I look at those players and I kind of start clicking around. I kind of start using filters and figuring out, okay, what other names can I potentially find? And then we're going to go to this other list over here, which is some more names that I found. So now I found more names on here, and I feel like, I really consumed so much of this information that I really had to force myself to stop before I made this video because it was kind of driving me nuts. When you go down here, you got this guy Spies 14, 56% win rate or percentage in the money. This guy Pavel France kept coming up, and he had a 44% here in the $3 tournaments, and he had that. So can't make a real positive decision on here. This guy Chubanati, and this is kind of what leads me to believe that these accounts that are in that higher 40% range, which is still ridiculous, are linked together with this, because you got the Chubanati guy, and this guy's at 63% in these $11 tournaments. Then up here you got this guy Vuga Duran. I have no idea how the hell to say that. This guy right here is at 66%. It looks like these guys are connected. The Kraptine 393. Yeah, so this Malchenk guy and Kraptine guy. So you can see in played opponents here, by far the most hands with Malchenk and with Kraptine 393. And right here, they're both in line. They're all, look at this. So they're all around each other in terms of in the money percentage, even though 179 games, 248 games, 301 games. So yeah, you can kind of see that, maybe these guys are in a different tier. Who knows? I don't know what the fuck is happening, guys. But the thing is, after we put this video out, these guys are probably going to change this. They might block their shark scopes. These guys are never going to be caught, all right? Unless this guy who just went nuts kind of and just dedicated himself to kind of find out about these guys and paying attention to them and getting them banned, these guys, you're never going to catch these guys, man. And now, obviously, it's still easy. There's a lot of Americans, right? Americans suck, right? We see a lot of here. These Americans aren't very good at poker. Shout out to Americans. But so it's still a chance you can win. You got a shot on here, but it's like, man, this is what it is now. Is it going to get worse? I don't know, man. This guy Kraptine just crushing it, 68% here. You look at who his opponents were, and his most frequent opponent is the Malchenk guy, and of course the Voodoo guy. You go to Malchenk's himself, 67%. Look at this graph, beautiful graph right here. It's just like, man, it's just, what's happening here? You got a legitimate account at Hennessy Margarita here, a nice legitimate looking graph here, 25% of a rate in the money. Had this Kid Poker 1982 account. Once again, one of those accounts in the 40s, but you filter it to $11 tournaments, it's 52%. And then the 45% here, and this BB King guy, I'm not quite, these monster guy, I'm not, 100%. But once again, you got this weird-ass monster guy here who, played 657 free rolls here, and his, his cash rate in the free rolls, I don't even know, honestly, this is my life's come to, I'm looking up cash rates and goddamn free rolls. His cash rate in the free roll, 3.8%, and then 52% in the $3 ones, 46%, in, 52% here. I don't know. They all blend together at this point in time, guys. I'm looking at 1.5K. This is what I'm doing, guys. This is what I'm doing with my life. I mean, what the fuck how did I come to this? How am I the security? How am I ACR security? If I don't tell them this, if I don't tell them these names, nothing's going to happen. How is that possible? Blows my mind. So Monster, of course, can't cash in free rolls to save his goddamn life, but all of a sudden he is a master in cashing here too. So yeah, man, you know, these are just like a lot of the accounts that I found out there. I'm pretty sure that's all the accounts here. Yeah, we had all the banned accounts here. You know, and you guys can go through, look at these accounts, filter it by favorite game. And you can also see, if you go into how these play patterns are, the average games these accounts play are very small. So 3, 3, 2.7, 2.12. They're not playing a lot of games per day. You know, Nick V, he was at 40 games a day when he was playing the $3 ones, and all of a sudden he went to 1.5 games a day. Very interesting change, Nick. What happened, Nick? What happened out there, man? So, you know, you kind of took a look at that, and yeah, man, if you guys want to go look through these names, obviously I give a lot of names out there, and now what should happen to some of these names? Well, I mean, they got to go, right? They're going to come back. That's the thing. These guys aren't going away. You know, all these guys are coming back. All these guys are not. Let me see if I can add another stat in here for average games. I mean, these guys aren't going away. They have no reason to go away. They've been allowed to operate in free reign. These are just accounts we know. I would imagine there's hundreds of accounts like this. So let's go take a look at the average games a day here. And Noob by Poco is playing one game a day compared to 17 free rolls a day, or 17 before. Yeah, he's playing 14 free rolls a day. And Ashimi went from that same rate to 1.4 games a day. Moser is at 2.4 games a day. V Martinez at 1 game a day at these stakes. Charlie Couve at 1.4. He was at 2.7 before. So yeah, he's got a little low rate here too. Yeah, I mean, it's $3, 1.4, kind of mixing up there. So yeah, I mean, that's those guys, and these are the sit and go bots, the best sit and go players in the entire world with the best ROIs in the entire world, which I'm going to get more into that tomorrow. So yeah, guys, I mean, that's what I got so far here, and yeah, you guys play at your own risk. I would not recommend anyone plays on America's Card Room, cash games, plays tournaments. This is just what we know. This is me one day into this. This is me without access to anything. This is me just really getting started, taking a look at this. I don't know anything about the tournament world, and this is what I found. You know, I got to give a big shout out to The Source. The Source is the big person that really helped me find out a lot of this stuff. And yeah, man, what do you guys think? What are your opinions on what's going on? What the hell is this? Best players in the world, or something more happening? Sharing cards, potential bots? What's happening? I don't really know. So much love, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.